Well, welcome to sunny Charleroi. This is the hostel. Pretty nice. And it's a nice morning. It includes free breakfast, so we're just gonna go down there now, check it out, and see what it's like. Well, you join me today here in Charleroi. Now, judging by the background behind me, you might be thinking that Charleroi is a city in some Eastern European post-communist country. But no, Charleroi is in the heart of Western Europe. We're actually in Belgium at the moment. And yet the surroundings look uncannily Eastern European. So we're here for a few days, and we're just going to take a look for ourselves and see what it's like in this strangely Eastern European city in the heart of Western Europe. So let's go. Well, one sight that's already been quite common from this short walk across what I think is the River Sambre over here, just on this little underpass, is these beers. They're just littered across the underpass. The Jupiler, Belgian Pilsner, clearly very popular here. Nice little hangout spot to come and have in this case, a solitary beer and an orange. This is how they do it in Belgium. What we have here is just a beautiful mix of kind of urban decay and sort of natural growth. You know, like these buildings here, obviously they're quite old, and you can see there's two layers of architecture going on here. You know, you've got the old brick there, and then you just got the modern sort of concrete. Obviously this has been boarded up because it's been abandoned, but then you've got all this beautiful nature just kind of on top of it around there, and then the graffiti. It just makes for a lovely, really interesting aesthetic. So you see behind me there's just an enormous abandoned factory, block of flats, I don't know, but there's just been left behind some amazing graffiti on it. Now, this region of Belgium is called Wallonia, but don't know who that is. And around here you can see obviously it's just not been left in a good state. But unlike in Eastern Europe, this has been all completely boarded up, so you can't really look inside. Yeah, look at all of this over here. It's remarkable. See what this used to be. Wow. Look inside here, you see this must have been some kind of shopping mall or something. See how the walls just kind of cracks. Festi Party at Silverslaven. You see what kind of state it's been left in. Just put an old street lamp in there. It'd be really fascinating to go inside. Just the kind of letters they were getting right before it was shot. Over here, we've got a Polish food shop. So let's just go and have a look inside quickly. Bonjour. See, the Poles and the Europeans in general, you know, they do their shopping markets properly. They've got a separate counter for meat, for dairy, you know. So there you go. You can have some kielbasa. Some dried fish. Not like how we do it in the UK. In the UK we just bunch it all in a massive freezer. See what kind of stuff you can get. We've got the Polish lagers here. Might have to have one of those later on the River Sambra. Merci. Pardon, c'était quoi ce bâtiment dans le pass?
Je sais pas.
Ah, pas de problème, merci. See, even the locals don't know what that building used to be. Right. So anyway, yeah, over here we've just got what looks like a bowling alley, and you can see again it's got this very retro feel to it. Over here it says "Ici ouvert," which means it's open, but it doesn't look very open to me. So it's just been boarded up. Let's go check out this car park over here. Maybe this is going to be where I meet my fate. But it looks too interesting to pass by. Getting clean, this is a bit of a hangout spot. People say come here for a little cubanisto, little beer or something. But again, you just see the signs of urban decay. You know, all these plants have started to reclaim what has been built over. Yeah, really interesting. There we go. That was the dodgy car park. Live to fight another day. And over here we've got a Chinese restaurant of some description. As you can see, we've got these very nice figurines as well. That's how you know it's a good restaurant. Anyway, let's keep walking. And just over here we've got a little alleyway into some nature. Let's have a look. Hard to tell what this used to be, but at least some kind of wall that's just been destroyed. See over there, there's an old sofa that someone's left. But yeah, let's get out of here because it's quite unsettling. Pardon, monsieur, C'était quoi ce bâtiment dans... Tu sais pas? C'est pas grave, merci. Another thing here that's quite kind of Eastern European is just these sort of double-storied motorways, which is kind of, it's got that sort of French modernist look. Part of the reason why these kind of Western European towns like Charleroi look so Soviet is because of this kind of modernist, brutalist movement in France, you know, like, and Germany, like the sort of Bauhaus movement, stuff like that, which I don't know masses about, but yeah, it's quite impressive, isn't it? Let's have a look at what some of the posters are saying on the walls. An old festival that's happening. And then we've got over here something quite interesting. We've got an Irish pub in Belgium. It's really weird. It's like pub culture is seen as something quite exotic to the Europeans, to the continentals. Another thing I love about the French-speaking world is just these little kind of I guess we're called newsagents that they get. Let's just have a quick look inside. What sort of stuff do they have for sale? Some light reading about the Israel-Palestine conflicts. A lot of cycling magazines. Interesting. Awesome. A staircase up there. Wonder where that leads to. And then just right in the middle of the city, we just have this enormous mall. Incredibly modern, incredibly, yeah, sleek. Just among all this kind of, all this sort of brutalist architecture. There's just a very sleek mall. So let's go check that out as well. So one thing that's really interesting about Charleroi is you get lots of buildings like this over here that these kind of flats that look very communist, like very, they've got that sort of brutalist style, very plain, made out of concrete, quite, you know, reducibly, you know, you can sort of do it all over the place, you know, you see it everywhere, and it's the same here. It looks the same as in Bucharest or in Kishinev or Moscow, St. Petersburg, and it's really fascinating to see it here in Eastern Europe. So I've just been in Charleroi for a few hours now, and my honest impressions of it so far have been, I'm not gonna lie, this is rougher than I expected. It's not so much the architecture and stuff, like whatever, but the people are very closed. Like it's quite a kind of closed society. Like no one wants to be filmed. I ask people questions and they don't really have any answers for me. you know, I film someone and people ask for me to be deleted, stuff like that. Like, it's quite a closed environment. Like, I'm not really bouncing off the energies of the people here. It's interesting, like places like Moldova or Kosovo or whatever, like the people are very friendly. Maybe they're a bit standoffish to begin with, but they're much more open here. Everyone's very standoffish, which means it's quite kind of exhausting actually. It's really making the content. Bonjour, je peux payer avec cash? Oui. Ça va? Oh, très bien. En bouteille d'eau, s'il vous plaît.
Bouteille d'eau.
Ah oui.
Sur place ou à partir?
Sur place, s'il vous plaît. So I'm just currently staying in this, just hanging out in this mall area. I just bought myself a bottle of water in what is effectively the French version of Cafe Nero, which is called Pool. It's still nice in the UK as well, but anyway, yeah, it's just interesting because this is such a nice area. You know, this mall itself is very sleek, very clean, very like modern, but you just walk everywhere else and you just, I'm not gonna lie, like, I just don't feel safe, to be honest. And there's just, everyone's kind of staring you down, and yeah, wears your spirits down a bit. So just over here across the river there is the central station, and apparently there's a metro in Charleroi, so we're going to see if we can get a metro around Charleroi, see if there's anything else to find. But it's quite impressive, this little bit. Bonjour, on va où pour le métro? C'est ici?
Just there.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Merci,
welcome.
merci. So it's not really a metro, it's a tram, but I'll let that slide. Well, I've just arrived at this metro station over here, and it is a dismal sight, to be honest. Like, I'm sorry to say this, but when look at this, the elevators don't work. Just completely still. No one uses them. And it smells of weed, and yeah, it's just all a bit too dismal and depressing, to be honest. Yeah, just over here you can see in the distance, like, this is the old factories and stuff. Charleroi historically was a mining town, so you know, that was, I'm assuming, where people used to go to work. Got some kind of blocks over there. Yeah, people just drinking in the day at this tube station. Don't even really want to get on a train, to be honest. God, it's quite weird going down a escalator that doesn't work. And just over here as well, this obviously has to be locked at night. This whole station. Yeah, pretty grim. But anyway. One thing I will say about Charleroi, if we just stop for a sec, it's just very quiet. Didn't expect it to be this quiet. There's just such little activity going on. It feels like a bit of a ghost town, to be honest. I'm very curious about these flats over here. I wonder what's behind this big wall, whether it's something else. God, I really am in the back ends of Charleroi. A bit out of my depth here, to be honest. It's just so a bit spooky. Just all these buildings around me, and it's just dead silent, apart from a couple of people walking their dogs. And yeah, it just feels very Soviet. Here I've got one of these facades of a house where just the rest of the building is just being completely destroyed. You see there's just empty space where the house used to be, but on the outside it still has this facade on the front. It's gives quite a weird effect. It's interesting to think how back in the day all of these houses along here would have been where the miners would have lived. So obviously right next door is the factory, so they would have been right on the doorstep over here, much like how the same thing happened in places in the UK like Birmingham or Manchester, you know. So I wanted to show you guys maybe a bit closer to the flats that are over here. Unfortunately they're kind of residents only kind of deal, but you can just see it behind the trees. There are these huge flats, these kind of almost Khrushchev era style flats just over there. Obviously it's for permit holders, and you know, I'm a law-abiding citizen, so can't get any closer to it, but there it is. It's really strange just being here and sort of contrasting this experience to when I was in Moldova. So I just feel like in Moldova it was rough, like there were quite rough parts of Moldova as well. But there was still a kind of pride of being Moldovan, you know, maybe because of the persecution, you know, well, not persecution, but the kind of Russian imperialism, you know, there was a kind of pride to be Moldovan, and, you know, a lot of younger Moldovans are trying to move out of the country and whatever, but even so, like, there was a sort of sense of pride in where they're from. I don't get that here. People don't seem particularly happy to be here. Okay, so I've just had a little siesta, had some foods, and now I'm gonna just come out in the afternoon to see what Charleroi is like in the second half of the day. Just wandering in the opposite direction to where I wandered last time, and see if, ooh, tell you what, there's a nice old building for a change. So let's go and look at that in the distance. Yeah. Still feels very quiet, very provincial. One thing I find quite interesting is that, like, not a lot of people that I've spoken to speak English. Like, very easy just to speak French here. People don't really revert to English very much, so, which I like. Feels very authentic. So just walking through the city centre right now, and as you can see, a bit like the mall, this part of Charleroi is just absolutely beautiful. Honestly, I feel like I'm in, like, Spain or Italy or something. Just look at these beautiful restaurants, everyone's outside, you know, eating some foods, having some cigarettes, whatever. But yeah, it's a real contrast to the rest of the city. Look at that. Nice bench over here. Maybe go and sit down on it, you know. Yeah, lovely. And over here, again, we've got a very decorative Chinese restaurant. Quite big on their Chinese restaurants in Charleroi. And yeah, very nice. And look at the tiling of the floor as well. Very clean, very sort of continental. So it's not all doom and gloom in Charleroi. And so you can just see behind us in the distance over there, after all this nicery, there is still these big, quite ominous chimneys just rising up from the distance, which are the old factories from which Charleroi gets its heritage from. So quite an interesting contrast. Over here we've got the station. Church. It's always a safe bet. Let's see if it's open. It's not open, but it's pretty cool. Just check this out. It's just an extremely small church, surrounded by all these massive buildings. Very weird. It's so strange, like, when I've gone to, like, sketchy places in Eastern Europe, I've always been a little bit on edge, but I've never felt like in danger. Oh mate, how you doing? Bonjour, bonjour. I've never felt like I'm really like in danger, you know what I mean? But some of these parts of Charleroi, like I genuinely feel they're just not safe to go with a camera. And yeah, it's just changed the trajectory of this trip a bit, because I just don't think I can go to a lot of these places without someone to like a guide or something. Just because I don't know, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but just the vibes different. It's just a little bit more scary, you know. So I guess this would just be like a vlog of all the nice parts of Charleroi. Lots of different types of Monopoly. Oh dear, this is the kind of content that we've been reduced to. So I'm not sure if this is it, but there is a cathedral quite nearby you can go and have a look at. Not that exciting in and of itself, but I'm a big believer that the journey is the destination. You know what I mean? Statue of this guy called decay. I'm not sure who he is. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be Albert Einstein, judging by the kind of look on his face, but no, I have no idea who that is. Presumably a Charleroi resident. What I find interesting about this church is it's a bit of a mix of styles. Like you've got the stuff here that looks very kind of, I mean this is a Catholic church, but this all looks very sort of Baptist to me, you know, like Protestant. And you've got this weird sort of stained glass. Again, very kind of, feels a bit Protestant. And then you get to the front of it, and you've got this big dome, that's pretty impressive. And you've got this weird kind of thing here that almost looks kind of Eastern Orthodox. You know, just the gold and the decoration and stuff. And there's a very weird photo, very weird statue rather, of Jesus that looks, yeah, very sort of postmodern. And then around here, this looks very Catholic. So you've kind of got all three traditions mixed up in one. And as is often the case with these things, we've ended up finding the original tower that we were talking about. Yeah, so looks like this is the town hall basically. And this kind of space around here, we're just in this little square here, and it's just completely, again, like quite desolate and just completely empty. You know, it's really weird. And over here we've got a Palais de Beaux-Arts, which I wasn't expecting to see in Charleroi, but oh, there's so much other cool stuff that I wanted to film here, but it's just dangerous, you know. So I'm gonna have to miss it out. See what kind of drinks they have on offer in this Belgian food shop. Some more different flavours of crisps, very nice. What a cool place. Wasn't even thirsty, but I just thought should get something. Yeah, I'm a bit of at my wit's end about what to do in Charleroi now. I mean, it's a bit of a festive atmosphere going on behind me, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. Right, this is the kind of food we have out here in the provinces. I've got a very French two-handles bowl here. And I'm just gonna have one of these. Not quite sure how it's gonna fit in. Well, it's not quite haute cuisine, but if it's good enough for bold and bankrupts, then it's good enough for me. So, all in all, very interesting day in Charleroi. Learned a lot about myself, and very interested to see what tomorrow holds. But apart from that, I'm just sort of relaxing in the sun. I'll just show you. It's got this lovely little terrace out here. Got ashtray as well. And yeah, just thinking about life. And that's basically it. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.